So, I didn't really plan on talking about KonekoKitten today, but I thought it was important since in my last video I mentioned him and how he inspired my entire YouTube channel. This drama is kind of 2ish years old, but it's still something that happened to a real person. I think it should be normalized to talk about those kind of things and spread awareness. But this video is mostly for the people who don't actually know what happened to him, but know who he is. And I want to state this, I am not trying to profit off this victim's trauma at all. If this person told me to take the video down, I would. If you've been in the Roblox community for a while, you already know who KonekoKitten is. He's been around for years, mostly doing commentary, reacting to drama, and he's the first one who ever did Roblox commentary. And after his leave, I didn't really see anyone pick back up on it, even though it was a good idea. A lot of people respected him for being pretty straightforward, so when the conversation around him suddenly shifted, it caught a lot of people off guard. But before we begin, I want to put a disclaimer that all of this is alleged, nothing in a court of law has been proven, and this is all just commentary, so while watching this video, please take this situation all as allegations. Now that all of the disclaimers are out of the way, let's get into it. So Brian, which is KonekoKitten, had a situation with the YouTuber who goes by the name Narpie, where they were actually in a relationship and met through mutual friends in the furry space in 2019. Which was a huge deal since Koneko had 1.4 million followers and even had moderator permissions in Arsenal, which was a huge deal for a game as big as Arsenal was at the time. He even had his own announcer in the game that I'll play for you right now.
Let's get this game over with so I can go back to bed, please. You're not bad at this game. You woke me up from my nap for this commentary? Really?
Now that you have a brief idea how infamous KonekoKitten was to the Arsenal community, the whole problem with this one situation that ruined his entire career was that Koneko was 20 and Narpie was 17 when they were dating. Now before this information even got revealed to us at all, it all started in 2021 when a 55-page document about Narpie when they broke up was released. I'm assuming this document was released so spontaneously because previously Narpie had tweeted about Koneko not being a good person. I guess Koneko got threatened by that, so then he had to defend himself before Narpie could even say anything. I'm gonna read you out the document from 2021. This is from KonekoKitten. Just keep in mind that Narpie did say that Koneko cherry-picked most of the stuff inside of this document though. Before I even read this document, I want to give you some trigger warnings. There is mentions of suicide, self-harm, and manipulation in this document, so if you don't like that, I'd recommend skipping out on this. So this is the first slide on the document. I'm not sure if it's accurate, but it reads, anyone that has ever been around Max, I'm assuming that's Narpie's real name, on a very personal level can understand where I'm coming from with this. I have my own faults in this story, but I'm not going to be okay with being called a groomer / manipulator, etc. That's before Narpie even called him out, by the way, so he's kind of admitting to it. This is more than just abuse and is very, very personal between me and Max. This is also going to be extremely long in detail and should explain a lot of very personal situations where I was right and wrong. That's the first line of this part of the document. I will read out the second one, but again I want to remind you this includes suicide, so please skip if you're uncomfortable with the mention of it. When our last fallout happened, he threatened to off himself over me because of the fact that I said I wasn't romantically interested in him, and at one point a long time ago we were intimate, and because of this he felt led on / used. This was his reaction to me having a tangent of suicide tendencies that are extremely triggering towards me, considering I've lost 2 close friends to suicide this year. So Narpie did acknowledge this in his response video and he took full accountability for it. He said he deserves all the backlash from that comment, but I do think he didn't know any better at the time that he was being groomed, but I also agree that it's extremely wrong and you shouldn't do that to someone. Obviously I'm not going to read out 55 pages of this doc, but I will only mention the important things in this doc, and the next one involves self-harm, so if you don't like that, please skip this one as well. Thankfully these images are blurred, but I'll extra blur them just in case because I don't want this to get taken down. Now I'm gonna read it out. You can notice in the background that those are indeed our Discord messages. He set that up entirely by himself to specifically show himself over me. The unblurred image will not be shown due to the graphic nature of it, which is a given. What the hell? Just as a general taste as to what I've had to endure because things have not gone the way he's wanted them to. Regardless of my wrongdoings or mishandling, this is not acceptable at all. I want people to firmly understand that in my situation, Max has gaslit me, emotionally abused me, and caused me severe emotional abuse trauma that I now have to seek therapy for, due to the emotional stress it's endured to me. I understand where Koneko is coming from with this, because that is entirely effed up, but I will say that someone else's mental health or what they're doing to themselves is not your responsibility, especially if they're a minor and you're an adult. The best you can tell them to do is get help and then block them. I understand that they had been friends for a very long time, but if it had to endure you into a forced relationship with them, just don't endure it at all. There's always an option to that. I will remind you before even all of this happened that Koneko had a sexual relationship with this guy, and this guy is still a minor. Koneko is not fully the victim in this situation. Those are mostly just the two things I wanted to share from the doc, since there's a lot of screenshots and evidence of what Narpie was doing mostly, but again, this guy was a kid, and there was a lot of him pushing things onto Koneko's friends as well, but again, this was severely cherry-picked according to him, and Narpie didn't really explain why he was doing that. Even if he did do that, that's still extremely wrong. Now that we've gotten all of Narpie's faults in the situation out of the way, I'm going to explain Narpie's side of the story that he posted on YouTube and the important bits Koneko left out of his statement and even deleted. But oh boy, did they make Koneko look terrible. Narpie's response video was posted on October 28, 2023, almost 2 years after the document was released, and he starts it out by saying he had endured so much hate that his subscriber count went down rapidly, and he even had to delete his personal Discord with 25,000 members at the time. Now here's some screenshots of Koneko indulging in sexual conversations with Narpie he said he wasn't going to engage with. I'm obviously not going to read them, but I'll give you some time to read over them and review over them. Now, Koneko said that he was asexual so he could never indulge in this kind of sexual stuff, but the stuff I'm reading, it doesn't look like you're asexual to me anymore. And in no way am I trying to deny his sexuality. I'm just going to say it's pretty hypocritical when I recall him coming out after Narpie accused him of being sexual as well, and saying he's asexual so he couldn't have done those things Narpie accused him of. Anyways, since that's noted that he said he's asexual, this is the last important thing I wanted to touch over. Let's show you some screenshots of him deleting chats asking Narpie for explicit content. In these screenshots, it's pretty obvious he deleted some things due to the chats not making any sense at all. Narpie mentioned at the end of his video that Koneko owned up to all these allegations, so I guess this is where the video ends. Sorry for the mic quality shift throughout the video, it took me 3 days to record different ones. Again, I know all this information came out ages ago, but I thought it's important to give a history on who my channel was inspired by. But the reason why I'm even doing this kind of content at all is because I don't want this kind of content to die out, as it's engaging and I want to be able to change the view people have on Arsenal commentary. Koneko is a massive creep and a hypocrite for always doing commentary on groomers and PDF files when he himself is already one allegedly. Please check out Narpie's video that will be linked in my description, as all of my information is from the document in the description of his video. I'd like to heavily invite you to read that document, as it shouldn't be too graphic. The only thing explicit in there is consented self-harm and texts that talk about sexual/dark topics. But there's no photos of that nature in there, and it has a lot of evidence as well. Anyways, here's where the video ends. Thank you for watching this video, and please make sure to check out my Tofia video if you want to have a laugh. Like and subscribe, and I hope you guys had an awesome New Year's.